The Dark Within. Today, as I came in weak and weary, I sat in the dark, contemplating the days to come. I searched for the sound of rain to bury the restless echoes of my heart. In the depths of our minds, whether as shallow as a fleeting thought or as deep as the ocean abyss, I find myself wrestling with shadows, those lingering doubts that claw at the edge of our sense of self. They remain elusive, just out of reach, as we question our worth and purpose, staring into the darkness where the compass of our lives feels broken. In these moments, when the line between identity and emptiness blurs, a strange freedom creeps in, an escape from life's relentless grip, if only for a fleeting instant. The paradox of the mind. In those quiet, shadow-filled moments, our minds become both captor and escape. A paradox that tightens its grip with every breath. We wrestle with thoughts that claw at our sense of self, digging deep into our flesh, leaving invisible scars that ache with every memory. They pull us relentlessly into a labyrinth of doubt and fear, where the walls seem to close in, suffocating any hope of clarity. Goosebumps ripple across my skin, sharp pains sting like needles as I try to steady my breath. Each inhale a desperate grasp for calm in the storm of mind. I wonder what happens when we let the wind scatter our soul, leaving us hollow, nothing but an echo of who we once were. What happens when darkness becomes our only companion, wrapping itself around us like a shroud, whispering secrets of despair? The air grows colder, thicker, as if the darkness itself is pressing in, suffocating the light. Then from nowhere, a voice pierces the silence. So close, it feels as if it's inside my head, whispering in a tone laced with despair.
Is this really a story?
The voice murmured from behind, sending a shiver down my spine. I turned slowly, heart pounding, but there's nothing but the void.
Endless
and empty. The voice, cold and distant, beckons from the abyss.
If you truly wish to know me, close your eyes, and I will show you.
So, driven by a blend of weariness and an inscrutable curiosity, I followed the voice's command. As my eyes fluttered shut, a shadowy figure emerged from the depths of my mind, a presence both hauntingly familiar and profoundly strange. This shadow seemed to hold within it a multitude of unspoken tales, as if it were not merely one being, but a collection of echoes, reflections of all I have been and all I could be. In its shifting form, there was a palpable sense of companionship, though I could not discern the figures that lurked just beyond the edge of my vision. It was as though the shadow was a mirror, reflecting a myriad of selves intertwined within its depths. And then it began to speak, its voice a haunting murmur that resonated with the weight of 1,000 whispered secrets. Each word carried the gravity of countless experiences, weaving together the fragments of my own scattered soul.
I'm here,
I said, my voice yawning into the thick, oppressive silence. The figure remained unmoving, its gaze locked onto me with an intensity that seemed to pierce through the shroud of darkness. It offered no reply, only a silent, watchful presence. I held its gaze, and we lingered in a timeless exchange of stares, the weight of unspoken words hanging heavily between us. As the stillness deepened, an unspoken understanding shadowed over the encounter. It felt as though the figure was waiting for me to bridge the chasm between us, to break the silence with my own words. In that charged moment, it became clear that I was the one who was meant to speak, to give voice to the silence that stretched endlessly before us. "Well, I could use a chair," I said, my voice laced with a hint of humor, hoping to break the tension. "It's easier to think while seated, and this standing here, staring at you feels a bit uncomfortable." As if summoned by my words, chairs appeared out of the darkness, arranged in a perfect circle beneath a canopy of stars. The scene was framed by the majestic silhouette of mountains, their peaks outlined against the night sky. The setting was serene, bathed in the soft glow of moonlight filtering through the gazebo above. I couldn't help but chuckle to myself. I asked for a chair, not an entire change of scenery, I mused. Yet, the unexpected transformation was oddly fitting. The new setting, though different from what I had anticipated, was a welcoming addition, offering a more comfortable and contemplative space. "Tell me, what is pity? Is it me or is it something fake, wrapped up in the seats we call a human being? I wonder, what's left when you got no self-respect? When you let the wind blow away your soul, or was it a throwaway from the start? Like a mole digging deep beneath the soil, bearing it away, it leaves a hole where everything negative and pestilent finds its way to grow into what we are today, just moving bones with a fragile conscience, like a baby bird staring at the sky, pushed from the nest, but instead of learning to fly, the world freezes like a snapshot. As the vision gets blurry, the wind scurries across faces, and the light starts to fade. Down, down you go, wondering as life and death roll the dice, playing a game with your life. I wonder, where was I when all this was aligning the other way?"
Right there, front and center stage, like a deer in headlights.
Neither knowing nor paralyzed. Not choosing as I accepted my fate. Fresh roadkill as my blood splattered, painting the flowers, trees, grass, and pavement along the way. One passerby says, "Ugh." Another,
"Oh my god."
And another,
"Can someone clean this up?"
Me, a lifeless corpse. I look and wonder, was this my fate? It feels so cold. The pain, was there supposed to be pain, or did it fry my brain? Nothing matters as I gaze at the skyline, the clouds so fluffy, drifting away. The wind dances, the flower dances, people prance. The sounds of panic, the wail of the ambulance.
"You're dying."
Where is that sound?
Only darkness.
In the darkness, what am I? Am I myself? I asked, my voice echoing in the void.
"I don't know,"
said the voice softly. "Who are you?" I replied.
"You."
But if you're me, then who am I?"
"You're yourself,"
the voice answered calmly. "Then what about the darkness around us?" I pressed.
"Darkness? What darkness?"
The voice laughed, a sound that seemed to dance through the empty space.
The dance of light and shadow. Let me say something. Every journey through the human psyche is a dance between light and shadow, a tug of war between the known and the unknown. We all have moments where we stand on the precipice of change, gazing into the abyss of what could be, and yet here you are, frozen in the comfort of familiarity, of familiar darkness, yelling into the silence like a fool, insisting that the darkness isn't you. But let me tell you this, the darkness is part of you as much as the light you deny. It's the shadows you cast, the void you carry within, the whispers you pretend not to hear. You can shout into the world that it's not who you are, but the truth lingers, unspoken and undeniable.
He tries. He thinks we don't see.
It's there in every step you don't take, in every light you turn away from. This darkness, this shadow, it's you, and it's time to face it.
Confronting the self, the sinewy sift, as a dense mist began to roll in, blurring the once clear outlines of the world. The air grew thick with uncertainty. Having doubts? The mist seems to whisper, its voice merged with the fog. You're an illusion, a demon in my head.
Well, maybe I am, maybe I'm not, but that doesn't change what we are.
What is this we?
It's you and us, or if you prefer a touch of irony, it's simply you, me, and I.
Well,
what? In the end, it's still just you, but not you. Like the hand that dealt the blow outside the flow of the masters, who were swept by emotions, crossing the lines they themselves have drawn in the sand that flew. Always trying to tiptoe as steady as he can until the nature of man, pushed by circumstance, awakens the dormant and suppressed animal within. Our fellow man and the past have deemed it unbecoming and unnecessary in lands that should flow like honey despite the bitter taste of reality. That darkness, if you still perceive it, is within yourself. Then that's your consciousness. Think of the mind as the canvas of our imagination, with darkness as our primer. The image that appears bursts between the eyes, whether it's a fantasia or a cold, lifeless corpse staring back at you into the emptiness. But the image is still fresh in your mind, in brilliant vigor contrasting with its surroundings. What do we call it? Tenebrism? Or sometimes it's dull, like a fog that muddies the air, or a smoke-like transition between light and shadow. Supermodel.
Aren't you poetic?
Am I?
Truly, you are.
You mean we are, then?
You're still clinging to that notion?
Well, why not give it a try yourself?
Try what?
Unveiling how you truly feel.
I don't feel inclined to.
But deep down, you must, don't you?
No, I don't.
You can deceive yourself, but not us. Open your mouth, or rather, your mind. It's just you in the silence. How do you feel?
How do I feel? No one ever truly inquires. When they did, their interest was fleeting.
Yet, we are always here, aren't we? Sometimes others are too, so go ahead. There's no need for fear.
Fear of what?
Fear of this. Fear of everything that surrounds you, of the very self you hold at arm's length. Fear of confronting your innermost feelings. You confide in us and sometimes in God, hoping your words don't fade into silence.
And what do you know about God?
Well, do you? The answer should lie within you, not me. It's your belief, not mine. Or is it? Whatever you hold dear, it weaves into this conversation too.
I see. No straightforward answers from you as usual.
It would be quite hypocritical for you to lament that. Besides, many who seek your company mirror this trait.
Whatever. The mist continues to swirl and sift until the surrounding transformed completely. We were no longer in a foggy landscape, but floating in the vast expanse of space. Planets began to emerge, their colors vibrant and swirling against the backdrop of an infinite cosmos, stars flickering like distant beacons, and solar systems, galaxies spun slowly in the vast emptiness. Well, the stage is set. So will you? Alright, I'll bite. Sometimes, when left alone, my mind dances in between narrow lines of pitch black in the hope of light. But as I dance, As I move around, I prance along the edge into the night. Where is that light, I wonder? Then,
Look over there.
a voice whispers, "Oh, now I see." So I take a step in that direction. The voice asks.
Why not make a mad dash?
Another voice says,
What if that's a false light? What if it's no light at all?
Then I take another step. Then a double take, and the dance continues. Then one voice stops and says,
He dares not.
Why not?
Another asks. Well, yes,
I like to hear it too.
says a third.
He dares not because he fears to tread the uncharted path. To him, the light is worse than the dark.
How so? Another voice inquires.
He has stayed here for far too long.
The voice continues.
He's been molded by it, twisted by it, turning it over and over, drinking it in, allowing it to become a part of his being. It's his friend, his lover, his tormentor, his enemy, his villain. It is him.
What do you mean? The voice asks,
I'll take this conversation back over.
said the shadowy figure.
A coin may be split into heads and tails, but in the end, it's still the same coin. In the end, that's the nature of the darkness, the chain, the dread. The man who won't let go, though he begs for it, instead of reaching out far into the light for a better or worse future, would rather let the current darkness hold onto his leg. The change that happens these days is not driven by the man's body, soul, or ego, but by a husk, letting light push him down a path he himself painted on a thread.
The voice says as frost forms as its breath leads into the darkness.
Even this cold is of your making, O person who yearns for warmth, but makes the cold night his bed.
The boundless expanse of space began to fill with water, transforming the infinite void into a melancholy sea. A solitary platform appeared, drifting upon this endless expanse. As I peered downward, my reflection wavered on the water's surface, distorted by the gentle, mournful ripples. The sight of my own image mingling with the vast, dark expanses beneath stirred a profound sense of unease. The ocean's endless depths seemed to mirror my own internal despair, and I could not escape the deep-seated loathing it evoked within me. How easy it is for you to criticize.
How easy it is indeed, and who else but I have the right to cast such judgment?
The right? You, who are nothing but a shadow in the dark, have no right? And what of your companions, who only laugh at my struggles? But I do have the right.
We all do. Every one of us who stands here. We share in that claim, and you know it's to be true.
Would any of you fare any better if you were in my shoes?
I don't know. At one time or another, we've all wished to sit on that very throne of thorns to face the trials you face.
And thought we could do better than your disgrace.
Yet your fears,
Cowardice and
sloth,
Those traits you pledged devotion to at the altar,
hold you back.
they drag you away from being a king in that seat.
They lead you like a puppet by the ear. A puppet, you say?
no, a marionette.
Said a voice.
Neither a marionette,
Said another.
but rather a gesture is what you are.
Said the main one. So you all fear nothing?
We never claimed that. We do fear something.
What is that something?
That something is you.
The you who is covered in fears, doubt, in the smell of darkness.
In the smell of death.
In the smell of failure, asked this child.
What child?
This one here, the one you see before you, the you who once lacked the embodiment of fears and doubts.
That the you who is now in front of us refuses to confront.
What soldiers would ride along a general or a king, a leader who is more gutless and afraid than they are?
Who already abandoned themselves, much less poor us, in the battlefield. But that's not fair. People don't stay the same when reality hits them. Not everyone comes out great in the end.
True, but if you were to ask yourself, about how you came out in the end, what would you say after our conversation?